everybody. Welcome back to Theatre Bacchus's Bacchus Bites. So glad to have you with this evening. We are at our final episode for the Watsons, and it's just flown by this month. I can't believe we're finally here. But I'm very excited that you're all joining us. We have another fabulous recipe for you, probably one of my favorite of the entire series. We're going to be doing Welsh Rarebites, which is Welsh rarebit as a small little Bacchus bite that you can enjoy. For anyone who doesn't know what that is, it's actually a fabulously flavored melted cheese with some beer laced through it that is cooked down onto some toast. You're really going to love it. And to help me cook this evening, she needs no introduction, but she's so fabulous, she's still getting one. Our founder, Lana Borsellino, is with us tonight and is going to be helping me cook. So welcome, Lana.
Hello.
Hi, Lana. So good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Thank you so much for agreeing to cook with me this evening.
This is going to be fun.
Well, my understanding is you're a really big fan of this particular dish.
Yes. The very first time I heard about it was from a very British woman, not Rare Bites, but the original one. And she kept saying it in a way that was Welsh rabbit. So I thought it was a rabbit, right? And I guess it's supposed to be like the poor man's, like if you can't afford meat. I don't know, but I originally thought the very first time I heard of this dish that it was a rabbit. I'm very glad that it's not a rabbit.
You know what?
So yes.
Don't even feel bad about that, because 100% I thought the exact same thing the first time somebody told me what it was.
Yeah.
Just again, it's that enunciation. It can change the way you hear the words.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me, this is like high-end, like cheesy toast. That's the way
Yeah.
I always felt about it. And there's a lot of variations on it, but the one we're doing tonight, I'm going to talk about a couple of substitutions, but we're going to try and keep it very classic, because again, a lot of these recipes have been about classic flavors that would have been part of the era of the show. So you've got all your ingredients set to go at this point?
I do, yes.
Wonderful. So the first thing we need to start with is making our roux. So for anyone who doesn't know what a roux is equal parts butter and flour. So we got 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons of flour. You're going to start by putting the butter in your stock pot and just heat it up and just get it melted. And I usually start on a medium heat for this. And
okay, I've got it on medium.
Yes. And once the butter's melted, then we're going to throw in the flour. And then what we're going to do is just stir that around until the flour smells cooked.
Great.
And so it just takes a minute kind of for that butter to get melted. Now, Lana, you're directing the show, the Watsons this time.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
How have things been going with the cast?
Fantastic. Oh my goodness. So yes, the show is recorded. It's in post-production right now, but I have to say, I'm working with some people, actors that I knew well before, but I'm also working with some new actors, and what a wonderful combination, just to get to know new people and just to watch people that I've known before take on these other roles. Yeah, it's just marvelous to see how flexible people are and to find new talent the way this group has come together. It's just been wonderful that way.
That's wonderful to hear. I can't wait to listen to the show. And I've already got to see some of the extra talents that your cast members have, with having a few of them cook with me over the last few weeks.
That's right. Yes.
Lots of fun personalities there. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the final product.
It's going to be great.
How is your butter looking?
I'm going to check. Still just a little bit, not quite liquid yet. So I'm going to wait a minute, like not a full minute, but just a few seconds more before I put my flour in.
Once you've got most of it down, you don't want to let it bubble or burn.
Right.
If you notice that it's bubbling kind of aggressively, turn the heat down a little. Everyone's stove's a little bit different.
Yes. I have burners that each one is a little different.
I find I have to keep a very close eye. And the cooking process for the flour does not take long. You're looking at maybe only about a minute or two, maybe even less than that, honestly. And the purpose of a roux is actually to help thicken a sauce. So we're going to be making a lovely cheese sauce here. The base is going to be, the main liquid is going to be the beer. And to make sure that we can thicken it up nicely, or else we're just going to end up with cheese soup, which may not be a terrible thing, but that's not quite what we're going for.
Right.
All right, so I'm going to turn my heat down because my room is pretty much good to go. And I need to get my beer open.
Okay, I've got my beer. I'm going to pour.
Yeah, I recommended a nice dark beer if you had one.
That's what I've got.
Yeah, and you can use a Pilsner or something like that, but traditionally most of the recipes that I've ever tried, it's always like a nice dark beer.
That's right.
You can apparently get way more flavor from it. There we go.
Okay.
All right. And so you want the beer to be at a roughly room temperature. You don't want to take it right out of the fridge, because if you put cold beer into your room, it's just going to make it turn into lumps, right? So once you've got that in a medium heat, what you're going to do is slowly, Lana, you're going to pour that beer into your roux and just kind of mix it until it's fully incorporated.
Okay.
And don't be surprised if it foams on you.
It's foaming.
Drop the heat a little bit so it doesn't overflow on you, and you'll be all right.
Okay, yeah, it's good. Smells great. Butter beer.
Yeah, we want delicious cheese sauce, not to have to scrub the kitchen for the rest of the night. So, right. And so, if you've done it right at this point, you should have it pretty well incorporated, the beer and the roux. You shouldn't see any lumps or bumps or anything like that. And that's a sign that you're actually good to go, and you can start to add the cheese in. And I recommend an old cheddar cheese if you've got one.
Yes, I got extra old cheese.
Yes.
Yeah.
But some people shy away from the old cheddar cheese. But I'm telling you, for this recipe, you need the old cheddar cheese to match the flavor of that dark beer. So I'm glad that's what you've got tonight. So you're going to just slowly start adding that in.
Okay, will do.
So Lana, where exactly did the idea for Theatre Bacchus come from?
Well, I was still teaching, and I was at a winery in February, and got talking to the owners of the winery, and they were just saying that, you know, once the major theater shuts down, it's like a ghost town. And so I thought, you know what? They need a theater, another theater here, and maybe something that's open a year round. So I love wine. I love theater. We've got a beautiful wine country in Niagara, so close. So I thought, I'm gonna, when I retire, open a theater that's totally associated with wine. And Bacchus is the god of food and wine. So theater and wine and ecstasy, but we'll leave that out. The food can be associated with the ecstasy, right?
I was going to say that he's a god after my own heart, but maybe it's not. And so I know the goal is to, you know, get into the community and into the wineries and be part of it. But obviously with the pandemic, things have had to go online for the company. What have you found the most rewarding part of doing these online productions?
Well, just the fact, I'm just going to stir a little bit as I talk. Just the fact that we were able to learn so many new things required by doing this online. And again, not so much me, but I think about Robert Lage, who is, you know, the guy that's created all the sound effects and written all the new music, and then even Peter. So all the post-production that these guys have had to do and learn as we go along, it really amazes me. So that's definitely one of my favorite parts. And the second part to that answer, I would say, is just watching the actors adapt to only using their voice to really embody a character. And when I listen to these shows, it never ceases to amaze me how they have created that world. Like, I've seen them on Zoom, I've seen them record, but then when I hear it, I still believe that they're in the place. Like we just finished Hound of the Baskervilles. It was so easy to convince even me that they were on the moors, and it was so, and then, with this Jane Austen thing, they're in Osborne Castle and they're in the Watson's parlor. So it really is amazing to me how convincing this virtual theater can be, just with audio.
It's so nice to see like the era of like the radio play kind of coming back in our kind of modern technology, and it's still so well received. People love using their imagination. I mean, they read. Why wouldn't they want to listen to kind of a story that can kind of take them into that fantasy world?
That's right. Yeah. And as I've said before, we're reaching two demographics. We've got people that grew up in that radio era, so that's familiar to them. But the podcast generation is also loving this. So it really works for both.
Fantastic. So we just kind of want to bubble this and cook it down until it gets nice and thick, but we also want to add a few of those traditional British spices in that normally go into this dish. And so that for me is always the dry mustard. And so you're going to have roughly about a teaspoon of dry mustard.
Yeah.
And then you're also going to add in about 2 teaspoons of, and I've had a debate for a long time, and people can debate that are watching, Worcestershire sauce.
Right.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong in the pronunciation of that one? I feel like that's the one I always get
Worcestershire. Worcestershire. And you said 2 of those, right, Kate?
Yes. 2 teaspoons.
Okay.
I'm going to drop my heat a little bit here. So try to show without spilling cheese everywhere. But what we're looking for is it's going to be kind of soupy. You don't want it like completely watery here, but you want to see that you're kind of starting to get some thickness to it.
Oh, it's thickening.
Good. And if it hasn't quite, like, just cook it for a little bit longer.
That's a really nice consistency.
But you cannot walk away from this dish.
Okay, I will not.
That's the only thing. We gave you one of the more technically challenging recipes. Can't just walk away. You can walk away from a sandwich or a cocktail, but you can't walk away from bubbling cheese, unfortunately.
It smells delicious.
Now, working myself for Bacchus, I've come to appreciate that green and local are 2 big facets of what Bacchus wants to represent. And I'm curious why those are values that are important to you for this company.
Well, again, I've always wanted to develop a socially responsible business as well. And so when we're going into the environmentally sensitive region of Niagara, it's our green belt. There's no way that I wanted to start a business that was going to harm that. And I'd rather have something that is sensitive to that. So when we do have a building, in its structure, it will be environmentally sensitive. Green roof, living walls, gray water in the toilets. All of the makeup and other cleaning products will be cruelty-free and sustainable. So, and then when we get into any kind of food and drink delivery, it will be also locally sourced and sustainable. Fantastic. So I think people definitely want to participate in something that is offered that way too.
I think more and more people recognize the importance of it, and I think it's so great that you want that to be the foundation of what Theatre Bacchus represents.
Yeah.
And the cheese, the food and the wine's not half bad either. But
no, people aren't going to complain about that, I don't think.
So we're doing baguettes for this. So you've already got your baguettes cut. And again, sometimes I do find, depending on the beer and the cheese you use, you may need to cook it longer. But what we're going to do basically is pour this onto our baguette pieces.
Okay. Kate, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What about this hot sauce? Am I supposed to
yes. You got it, yes. So this is optional. If you like a little heat, you can add a little bit of hot sauce in.
Yeah, gonna be doing that.
I got all excited listening to you talk about the theater. I got hot sauce.
There we go. That's good.
Can't edit that out, folks.
That's okay.
You know what? It's never a bad idea to actually just taste the cheese sauce to see if you like the flavor. You may want to add a little salt or pepper.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm pretty happy with that. Now mine is, I mean, it's a little bit runnier than I often would like it. Yeah. I think I'm gonna need maybe like 1 more minute to boil this off. But if you're ready, Lana, what you can do is just start pouring yours over top of your toast.
Yeah, this is a pretty thick consistency, so I'm going to start.
Yeah, you go for it. And then for people that are watching, you're going to need to get your broiler going, because what you're going to do is you're going to toast these underneath your broiler to just give it a little bit of extra bubble and crust on the top, which is fabulous. I also recommend having some fresh chopped chives to decorate on top. Just that little bit of fresh onion kind of breaks everything out. All right. Well, while I'm waiting,
all right.
Back up here. Go.
The smell is amazing, I have to say. Oh my goodness.
Wonderful. Let me see what you've got going on over there. I'm falling behind, but I want to see how yours is doing.
Okay, let's see. How can I show you? Let's see.
I'm just gonna watch if you're putting your sauce on.
Oh, okay.
Oh, fantastic. Wow, you're picking up way quicker than mine did.
Well, everybody's burner is different.
I gotta come over and cook at your house.
That's it. I don't know, but your stove is pretty wondrous, I have to say. And if you did come to my house, you'd have to come and bring Watson.
That's for anybody who hasn't been following. Lana's obsessed with my cat. He's been a mascot for a show. He's had a family tree where his face is. He's gonna end up with a serious complex. He thinks he's a lot more. He thinks he's got a celebrity future ahead of him, I think.
Oh, he's lovely, and he really has served us well in the past, I have to say.
He's a good sport, that's for sure.
Yeah, he is.
So, Lana, you do a lot of cooking at home, right?
Yes.
What's like your favorite thing to make?
That's a good question. Let's see. Wow. Favorite thing to make. Wow. I'd have to say I really do. I make a stew, and sometimes I put like red wine in it. Sometimes I put Guinness in it. And it is total comfort food. Especially in the winter when you get a nice sourdough bread or a French stick, and you have the gravy. Oh, yum, yum.
Oh, that sounds delicious. All right, so I'll be over in September.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, I think my sauce is doing a little bit better here now. I think I'm ready to start pouring it on.
Okay.
I'm just gonna add this onto my toast here.
I'm watching your technique.
Yeah, and I mean, I still like mine a little bit runny. Like you can make it nice and thick so it's just on top, but I find if it's still just that hint runny, then it gets down into the little crevices of the baguette, and you get this wonderful kind of like crunchy, chewy cheesiness all the way through.
Yeah.
Which is pretty wonderful. So I've been asking everybody who's been cooking with me if they were throwing their own garden party, besides the Bacchus bites, what is the other dish they would make to try and impress their guests? If they want to throw themselves like a garden party or a tea party, do you have something that would impress your guests?
A garden party. Well, again, I can't really serve stew at a garden party, so the stew is out. Well, I guess it would be just like different hors d'oeuvres. Like I did make one time that I really liked, these quiches that were made in like little muffin tins that were made with like a puff pastry. So that's kind of nice garden party fare. And then you can just keep changing the interior of the quiches. So you can have like asparagus or ham or cheese and broccoli, things like that.
And generally it makes a pretty decent leftover as well, I find.
Yeah, it does. It really takes care of that nicely. Yeah.
I honestly think of that sometimes when I'm coming up with dishes. I'm like, what am I going to want to eat the next day for lunch after the party?
Yeah.
And that may influence what I choose to make for people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I will warn people with this dish, depending on how dark your beer is, it's going to change the color of the cheese. So mine's almost coming out like a gold color right now.
Yeah.
And then yours is all set, and we're ready to go under the broiler.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Here we go.
Here we go. So this is only going to take us a minute or two. Pop those in. And while we wait, I think it's only a good idea. Since this is Bacchus, we should probably have a little glass of wine.
Sounds good. There we are.
There you go. Right.
This totally reminds me, when I was a kid, I used to watch The Galloping Gourmet. And that's the Graham Kerr reference I mentioned to you. And yeah, I was a kid and I just always noticed this guy. Every time he had any kind of cooking, he always had this glass of something and he would just be sipping on this, whatever it was in his glass. Modern chefs don't tend to do that.
No, I think they're a little too weird, a little bit too worried if, they have too much to sip on, that there's going to be maybe a little accident. Right. Going to end up in the food.
Exactly. Yes. But
I would like to just a toast to the theater and Michelle the Watsons. I know it's going to be a fabulous production. I can't wait to listen to it. And here's to the future of Theatre Bacchus. Cheers.
Thank you, Kate.
Now.
Perfect. It's official now.
And now we need to keep an eye on these.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Fine. I usually
bubbles.
Just start to see the bubbles, and you're just
yes.
a little bit of brown. It's a matter of seconds at that point.
Okay. So no brown yet. Just occasional bubbles, and not in my wine.
So now that things are starting to open up and, the arts are starting to kind of expand again, hopefully we're going to be seeing live productions. What are you most excited about for the future of live theater?
Oh, I think it's almost a cliche now when you think of the energy, right? Like just going from Zoom rehearsals to recording in a cubicle, the energy level went up like 75% among the actors. But then you imagining them being on stage with an audience reacting to the work that they do, that's off the scales. So the energy is the thing that I am most looking forward to. That is so tangible. You can cut it with a knife.
It's that give and take, right? And I feel like as somebody who's been doing like live cooking and teaching cooking for a lot of years, the same way, cooking for a live audience and watching them eat my food is a lot more satisfying than being in my kitchen. So I'm so glad I've got somebody to talk to this month.
Exactly. Well, I know, and that at least helps a little bit, even though it's just we're in a box.
All right, we should take one more look.
Oh, here we go. I got very brown.
And mine are just perfect. Oh my gosh.
Okay, I'm grabbing mine now.
And also, I just want to point out the one magic person that nobody's been able to see this month with me. I've actually got Brian Bertolicio, my cameraman, with me. He's been watching torturously as I've been like keeping this food from him at a distance for the whole month. Brian, thank you so much for everything you do. Are you interested in snacking on this? Yeah. Okay. Well, he's got it out there.
That's it. You have a captive audience there at least.
There, that's my one audience member. All right, so I'm going to throw these onto a plate.
Okay. And so we don't chive until the plate?
Yeah, I'm just going to drip a little bit here.
Oh. So Kate, the chiving happens on the plate?
Yeah, you know what? It's probably easier to do it on the plate. Just then you
okay, cool. All right, grabbing the plate.
Also, another tip, folks, it never hurts to have an extra piece of baguette that you didn't toast to soak up the extra cheese that's on the bottom of the tray there. All right.
Okay, I'm putting mine on my charcuterie board. All right. Oh boy, these look amazing.
Oh my gosh. I'm so excited to eat these.
I just can't get over how lovely they smell.
We got a nice shot of that.
Okay. All right. I'm putting my last one on. Okay. That one didn't come very quietly. Okay.
And what you'll find is as they cool, the cheese is going to kind of solidify a little bit more. So again, if it's a bit runny when you put it on, that's okay because it will get a little bit heavier consistency. Yeah,
Okay.
so got mine all done here, Lana. How are
All
you?
right. And I'm chiving mine. Is that what you're doing?
Yes, I added a little bit of espresso.
Okay. Sorry, I missed that because I was doing my receptacle. Sorry about that.
It's okay. It gives me another chance to have a sip of wine.
That's good. That's good. All right. I'm done. Ta-da. Oh yeah. This is awesome.
Then there's only one last thing to do. Oh, Lana, yours look great. All right. I think we should take a bite. Yes?
Okay.
All right.
Oh, they're boiling hot.
Oh, is yours still really hot?
Mine's really hot.
Well, maybe take a minute then.
I think so.
I think mine is still relatively cool.
Okay, you do the tasting. I will wait because I'm a suck.
Well, while we're waiting for yours to cool, by the way, this is delicious for anyone.
Okay.
Why don't you remind everybody about where they can get tickets for anyone who hasn't quite got their tickets yet?
All right. Yes. So you can get your tickets at theatrebacchus.com, and theater is spelled with R-E. Yes, you go right to the website. There's a button there that says buy tickets, and it'll take it from there. It's very simple. But you can always, if you have any difficulties, you can always email us. There's also a contact us option on the website as well. It'll send a direct email to us if you have any questions. So you have 48 hours once you buy your $10 ticket to consume the play. So it's a lot of time to see it over and over again or stop it and start it again. So, and it's going to be about a 2-hour and 15-minute show in total.
Yes, there's music and there's a podcast about the history of the author as well. And of course, now you have all the recipes. So the final recipe card is going to drop tomorrow. So you'll be able to see what we talked about. And of course, you can go back and you can watch all the videos to see us having fun in the kitchen, as well as go back and see the cards. I recommend making everything. Throw yourself a garden party. Get together with your loved ones. It's time that we all enjoy theater together. This is a wonderful show. So please definitely log in and enjoy, and be sure to have your Bacchus bites along with them.
That's great. Great. Thank you so much, Kate, for guiding us through all of this. And yeah, you've created a great menu for us to consume on the evening of our play. So it's great.
It has been my absolute pleasure. So enjoy eating your Bacchus bite tonight, Lana. And
I will. I got my wine, I got my cheese dish. It's great. And it's not a rabbit.
That's good. Life is good. That's right. Rabbit-free cheesy toast.
That's right.
All right, everybody have a good night. Thank you so much. We hope to see you
Cheers.
again soon.
Good night.
Cheers, everybody. Bye.
Bye.